Hi beauties, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monica and thank you so much for watching. I finally came in the mail today. I got the Bretman X Colourpop collection. There's a total of 8 products. Here it is here. Came in this cute little pink box. So what I thought we'd do today is go through each item individually, go through swatches, and then we will do a look on the lit side of the collection and then also a look on the wet side of the collection. Okay, so before we jump into reviewing the actual products, looking at them, and doing swatches, I do want to state that I did purchase this with my own money. It wasn't sent to me, so this will be a full, honest review. It's just my personal opinions on the products that work for my skin tone, that work for me as an individual. So just to keep things simple, I'm going to go through the lit side of the collection. There are 4 products in each side of the collection. However, if you break down the lip gloss lipstick bundle, there's a lip liner, excuse me, a matte lipstick and a lip gloss, and then with that, the blush, the glitter, and the eyeshadow palette. That'll actually give you 6 items. So first up, let's talk about the eyeshadow palette. Okay, so here's our first product. This is the lit eyeshadow palette, which I find absolutely beautiful. You'll see that Bretman is on the cover of the palette, and then if we turn it over on the back, it does talk about all of the 8 shades that are in the palette. It also does state that it is cruelty free, and then the total amount that you get in each eyeshadow palette for the 8 shades is 0.8. Okay, so let's go ahead and open her up and take a look inside. Alright, so it slides out just like that, and then look at the front. Do you guys see how beautiful that is? In gold lettering, it says lit. I'm a type of person, I appreciate packaging. I know how much work and effort goes into doing something like that, and I am in complete love with the front of it. On the back of it, just like the unicarton, it does talk about each shade. They do have individual names. It looks like the first shade, excuse me, says or whatever. The second shade is Mercy Mancinto. I'm saying that wrong. Cel Amor, She Got Money, Perito Like, and Batting. So those are the 8 shades I bought. Okay, so opening her up, these are the 8 shades that are in the lit palette. You can also see the gold theme of the lit palette also transfers into the inside of the palette, and then that really pretty red color also. There's also in red lettering on top of the palette where it says Bretman X Colourpop. I don't know if you can see that on camera. And then it also does say lit throughout the top packaging. First thing that I will notice before we get into the actual colors and swatching them, there's no mirror, and I would appreciate that just personally if I was like sticking this in my makeup bag and running to work with it, and I noticed that on my break, or when I went out to lunch, said, oh, I missed the spot this morning when I was rushing out the door, but there's no mirror, so now I've got to have an additional item. So let's run through a swatch of each individual eyeshadow. We'll talk about each eyeshadow, like I did mention, per the back of the box and unicarton. The net weight is 0.8. 1.10 kilograms or 0.04 ounces. So to make this easy and quick, so this video is not 100 minutes long, I'm just going to go ahead and swatch all of these and then show you them on my arm. Okay, so here's all of the 8 shades in the lit palette done for you in a row. You do get 3 shimmer shades and then 5 matte shades. So the first shade that we have is Oh Whatever. Second shade is Mercy Mancinto. Cel Amor, She Got Money is that gold shade. Perito Like, and then Batting, this very iridescent pink shade here. So that is the lit side of the palette. What I will say before I move on to the rest of the collection in the lit side, I did notice, like I mentioned, the no mirror part, and also as I was swatching, I noticed that there was a lot of kickback in the pan, which I'll show you more in depth once I actually go through each look that I'm going to complete with each eyeshadow. Okay, so next up on the lit side of the collection, we do have our lip bundle. You can see on the front of it, it does have that kind of gold lit writing, and then in smaller font, more of the lit writing kind of in that metallic form. Like I mentioned before, you do get 3 products per lip bundle. You do get a lip pencil. The net weight of that is 1.0 grams or 0.035 ounces. Ultra Glossy Lip net weight is 3.0 kilograms or 0.11 ounces. The Ultra Satin Lip net weight, excuse me, is 3.2 kilograms or 0.11 ounces. And then on the back of the box, you will see again that it has that logo that kind of follows through the entire packaging, which I appreciate because I know how much work actually goes into it. Also, you'll see the names of the Ultra Satin Lip here is Wig. The Ultra Glossy Lip is I See You, and then the lip pencil is Dukes. Okay, so opening it up and looking in the inside, you will see that the gold theme that kind of follows through for the lid side is also on the tops of the satin matte lipstick and then the ultra glossy lip. But then you also have a more white packaging on the lip liner. Okay, so here's all three of the products up close. You will see that they, like I said, do follow through with that gold theme for the lit side of the collection. It has flames on them, kind of that see-through iridescent packaging for the outside of the packaging. Okay, so I want to run through the products that come in the lip bundle quick, and then I'll show you an up-close swatch of all three products kind of next together so you can see how they would build on your lips individually. So here is the Ultra Satin Matte Lippy, and you'll see that it follows through with that flame decal on the front of it, also on the bottom of it as well, and the see-through so you can see the color. It is a very Christmassy red color, which I personally appreciate, especially this time of year with the holidays. Okay, so the next up we have the gold kind of glossy, it's ultra glossy, excuse me, lip gloss that you can layer on top of that matte shade if you don't like the drying effect of matte lips on your lips, matte lipstick on your lips. You can put gloss over it, and it also does have that flame decal on it as well. So very cohesive collection. Okay, so lastly we do get a lip liner. I like that they thought about every single part of this. I really feel like it was thought through. You're able to line your lips. They also included a gloss, and then also your pigmented matte shade too, so you can really build versatile looks with this. You can either go strictly with matte or add you know, a hint of gold to it, make it more glossy, more shiny. Very holiday feeling, kind of perfect for this time of year. So let's go ahead and swatch all three of these products, and then I'll show you what they look like up close. Okay, so here are the swatches up close. First off, we have that really beautiful red shade. That is just one swatch, so it is very opaque, very pigmented, very true red color. And then you have your Ultra Gloss, which is a very kind of glossy wet gold look to it. And then here we have our lip pencil. You'll see that it is darker than the lipstick, which I personally appreciate. It just makes you, I have naturally big lips, but for people who are trying to overline their lips, and I do too still personally because I kind of have some unevenness, it helps with that aspect of it as far as giving you more fuller plumped lips. Okay, so the next product that I grabbed is the Bretman X Colourpop Blush. You'll see that it has a black unicorn, and then it does follow through with the gold theme, with the gold writing. Also on the back of it, it has the name kind of peeking through for you. It says, "Oh, she's blushing," and it's 18K1 Super Shock Cheek Matte. So here that is up close. And then the net weight that you get for this product is 4.2 grams or 0.15 ounces. So I'll go ahead and show you a swatch of this with the body glitter as well up close, but this is the blush that you get with the lip side of the collection, lit side of the collection. Okay, so the last product in the lit side that we're going to talk about is the body glitter. It follows through with the same theme as the blush, the black unicorn with the gold writing. It's called Glitterly Obsessed, which I personally get a kick out of. I'm going to start using that word. The net weight that you get is 0.15 grams or 0.53 ounces, and it is a body glitter. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and then I'm also going to open up the blush and show you swatches of those. Before I forget, the name of this body glitter for the lid side is She's Lit. Here is the body glitter up close. Outside of that unicorn, it's a white top with the gold writing. And then you can see it's red, but it has like hints of gold micro glitters in there. Some green in there as well. So it's very beautiful. Here's the top part, and then here is the bottom part of it. Here is the blush outside of its packaging. Same with the body glitter. It has that white kind of packaging to it, and then it has the gold writing and the see-through parts. You can see the product. Okay, so up close, here are the swatches of the body glitter and the blush. You'll see that it has a lot of different colors mixed in with that body glitter. It is stunning. I want to wear this over my entire body, or if you're going to like a really cool party, you can maybe do it as like a highlight. You can do it on your shoulders. It is stunning in person. Very thick, very opaque. It is a body glitter, so keep that in mind if you're putting it on your face. Swatching it though, it kind of had like a jelly texture to it. And then right next to that is the blush as well. It's Oh She's Blushing, which is a very cute name. But you'll see that it's very pinky, very opaque. That is one pass through for that blush. So definitely standing up so far as swatching. However, sometimes products do apply differently when you apply them to your face, which we will find out when we actually go through the lit look that I'm going to do with this entire collection. Okay, so now we move on to the wet side of the collection. I'm very excited about this palette. There are some colors in there that I am probably going to be obsessed with, which is out of the norm for me because I'm usually into those warm tones and those nudes, those reds, those pinkies, those golds. But this one really caught my attention, which will run through the palette. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same weight. You'll get the same amount of ounces, kilograms, grams, all that good stuff as you get in the lit collection. It is very even depending on which side that you choose. You should get pretty much the same thing. I personally did both of them, but we will go through swatches. We'll talk about the names, and then also later on in the video we'll talk about if there's any kickback. There is no mirror in here as well, so that is something that I would have preferred, but it's not a deal breaker either. Alright, here is the wet eyeshadow palette. You'll see Bretman is having a great time in a bubble bath and also standing there as well. It has a nice, beautiful kind of blue unicorn to it, and throughout it you'll see that it does say wet throughout the entire packaging in a very dark kind. I know on camera it's picking up my ring light and it looks silver, but this is a dark blue as far as the writing. On the back of it, it does talk about each shade, just like the lit side of it did. I'll come up close so you can see each and every single name. Down here, you'll see the weight and how much product you actually get. I did make sure it is the same as the lit, cruelty-free. So it's pretty much the same as what you would get from the lit side as well. I'm going to go ahead and open it up, and then we'll talk about each shade. Here is the front of the wet palette. It has that silver kind of glitter cursive writing that says wet, which is absolutely stunning and iridescent and beautiful. It also has his name, X Colourpop, and then in kind of silver writing you'll see that it does say wet on it as well. If we turn around to the back of it, it has the names of each individual eyeshadow, talks more about the product weight, that it is cruelty-free down at the bottom. We do get Finished. That's the first shade. I'm Chillin', LOL, I'm Crying, Skinny Legend, Mood Fishy Thickums, and Ewa Beach. I hope I said that correctly. Okay, so here's the inside of the actual palette itself. You'll see that, like I mentioned before, there is no mirror, which I definitely feel like there was enough room to do that. Like I said, if you're on the go type of gal like I am, that's something that I definitely do appreciate, but it's not something that I'm not going to buy a product for. Down here at the bottom, you'll see we have the 8 shades that are in the lit palette. The first shade that we have is kind of it looks white on camera, but it has like a blue hue to it. So it's kind of like a very whitish, bluish color. I know that's not a very good description, but it's not fully white. It does have some blue in it. Like the lit side of it as well, you do get, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually, in the wet side, you actually get 4 mattes, and you get 4 kind of those shimmery metallic shades. You get 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's go ahead and run through swatches of this palette, and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so here are the swatches of the wet side of it from the, let's say, left to right. We have that, you can kind of see in camera now where I was talking about it has that blue hue to it. The first shade is called Finish. The second shade is I'm Chillin'. That third shade, which is my second favorite in the palette, is LOL I'm Crying. This kind of taupe color is called Skinny Legend. This blue shimmer, it's got a little bit of shimmer into it, as you can see, but it also looks very matte as well. So it's kind of like that delicate balance between the two, and that one is called Mood, excuse me. This dual chrome right next to it is Fishy. My favorite shade in the palette is that silver. It is so pigmented and so metallic and foiled looking, and I think it's going to look beautiful on the eyes. Is Thickums, and then the last shade is Ewa Beach. You can see too in my swatch that I still have a lot of that glitter on, so once you get that on from the lid side, it is on. You almost need to scrub it off. So okay, so here is the lip bundle. You do get the same products as the lid side. You get that lippy pencil, the ultra glossy lip, and then ultra satin lip. So if you look on the front, it does follow through with that glitter theme, kind of in silver, where it says wet. It has kind of like a blue silver to it, so pull it up close so you can see that. And then it has kind of like that bluish silverish writing saying wet as well. And then on the back it does talk about the names, and then also some information as far as it being cruelty free. As far as the names, the Satin Lip is She's Cute, the Gloss Lip is Kumquats, and then the Lippy Pencil is BFF3. You do get for the Lippy Pencil net weight 1.0 grams or 0.035 ounces. The Glossy Lip is net weight 3.0 grams, 0.11 ounces. The Satin Lip net weight is 3.2 grams or 0.11 ounces. So let's go ahead and open her up and take a peek inside. Okay, so inside you'll see that you have that silver metallic top and then also that white unicarton to that lippy pencil. Sliding them out, you get a very, I want to say, kind of pinky nude, and then it follows through, not with the flames like the lip, but it kind of has like a little water wave to it. Here is the, I believe it was called, hold on a second, She's Cute. So here's this nude, and it's got that silver packaging. The lip gloss is very interesting because it kind of follows through with that eyeshadow where it's white, but it's also got a blue hue to it as well. It has the kind of droppings, the wet look to it on the unicorn, and it has silver as well. Here's what I thought was interesting, and maybe you can share your opinions down below in the comment section, but the lippy pencil is the same for the lid side. Now, like I mentioned before, I don't mind having a lip pencil that's darker than my lip gloss, but for the red, it seems like it's fitting a little bit because it's like only slightly off. Well, a little bit more than slightly off, but when you compare these two together, it seems like this might be too dark. I haven't personally tried it on my lips yet, so it might look cute, it might not. But to me, personally, I feel like there should have been maybe a different lippy pencil chosen just for this combination and this duo. I get what they were trying to do, but I personally feel like it was an afterthought. Like, oh, we forgot to throw this in there. That's just my personal opinion, because why would the lippy pencil be the same per or different collection? Okay, so then the last two products that we have, just like we did with the lid side, is the blush. The blush is a Super Shock Cheek, and it is matte. The name of this one is called Stop It. Net weight 4.2 grams slash 0.15 ounces. And then here is the Glitterly Obsessed Body Glitter. And this one is Oh My God, I'm Wet, which is adorable. So here is the body glitter outside of its unicarton. You'll see that it follows through with kind of that white packaging, also the see-through in it. It has, just from just looking at it and not swatching it, I can notice that there's like blue in it, silver in it. I see like little stars in it as well. It does have the name on here, and then more information as far as how much product you actually get on the. Okay, so here's the blush that you get with it as well. This is called Stop It 18K1. And then it follows through with that body glitter, the see-throughs on top with the white packaging, and then that kind of silver writing. Here is what it looks like inside, kind of the different decal that it follows through. A swatch of that up close. It's very, very soft, very kind of buttery feeling. I'll show you what an actual swatch looks like as well with that body. Okay, so here is the swatches of the blush and also that body glitter. You'll see that the blush is very opaque. That's one swatch. It's very buttery. It's kind of got like a nude hue to it. It's peachy, I would say a peachy nude almost. As far as the body glitter, I try to do a better job with the wet collection. It's very hard to swatch body glitter, but you'll see that it's got like light blue, dark blue, silver, green. There's stars in it. Very beautiful all in all. Okay, so that is my first impressions review. Just looking at it, talking about how much product you get, swatching it. I did create a look for the lit side and then also the wet side with the eyeshadow palette and the lip kit. So if you do want to see how I created those looks, please keep on watching. I'm going to jump into a voiceover, and then don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Okay, so the first shadow I'm going to use as a transition shade is Oh Whatever from the Lit palette. This shade is extremely pigmented and blends very well. I'm going to place that right in between my brow and my lid space. And as you can see, it's a very pinky shade, kind of true to skin tone. Before I started applying this, you've seen a little bit of fallout that came with the actual original pickup of the color as well. The next color I picked up is Peridot, I believe is how it's pronounced. It's kind of like a warm tone red shade. And I am applying that right above my lid, in between my crease, starting at the outer V. This shade is extremely pigmented, and you can see that it does blend out very nicely, starting from that outer V and slowly blending it inward. I did go back into the original shade we used for a transition, Oh Whatever, just to further blend out that orangey red shade that we applied right below it. Moving on to the next eye, and I'm just going to repeat the process, putting it right in between the eyelid and that top transition shade, Oh Whatever. I thought I needed a little bit more blending out, so after I finished the second eye, I went back in with Oh Whatever and continued to blend it out, kind of back and forth, sweeping motions. Now using a pencil-shaped brush, I dip my brush into Like, which is more of a darker, redder shade. I know with my beauty lights it looks a little bit more warmer, a little bit more orange, but it is a true red. I went a little bit over the Peridot shade and then a little bit onto the actual lid shade just to kind of deepen that up and give it a more defined look. Then going back in with a more fluffier brush just to further blend it out and make everything look seamless and smooth. Repeating the following steps on the second eye as well. Okay, so next we're going into Peridot again, and we're going right about the Like shade on the second eye because we're already here, so why not? I repeat these steps kind of back and forth just to build up that process, make sure everything is fully defined and pigmented. Okay, so we're going to dig back into Oh Whatever again and go over that Peridot shade. I know this seems like a lot of steps, but trust me, girl, this makes your eyeshadow stand out and look very well blended with less work. Now that we have everything fully blended out, I'm going to dip into the shade Mochaccino. It's kind of more of a reddish brown chocolatey shade. I'm going to take a more packed brush, kind of stipple that onto the actual lid, starting at the outer V. Okay, so once I like the pigmentation, that Mochaccino shade, I'm going to start to slowly blend it on the rest of the eyelid 3/4 of the way. Repeating the same steps on the second eye as well, going back and forth on that lid to like the pigmentation, and then slowly blending it in 3/4 of the way on that lid shade. Okay, so now here comes the fun part. I am going to be doing a slightly bigger cut crease. I'm using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in Porcelain. I put a little bit of that on the back of my hand, and then I'm using kind of a dome-shaped brush to start cutting out that crease. Cutting out the second eye now with the same Pro Concealer in Porcelain. If you're looking for a cheap concealer that you can use also for cut creasing eye looks, this is the best bomb eyeshadow. I am a fan of a bargain, and let me tell you, this concealer will get you where you need to be every single time. Another pro tip that I learned is using your fingertips to further smooth out that concealer, just to make sure it's nice and even and it's not bumpy, so that when you actually apply your lid shade, it goes on a lot smoother. Okay, so now I'm going to take the same brush we used for the cut crease and spritz it with Mario Baduzzi spray. I believe that's how you say it. If not, please don't come for me. I just call it the Mario spray. I like to spray it a few times on my brush, and then I like to stamp it on the back of my hand just to make sure that I don't have it soaking wet. I think that helps a little bit with pigmentation as well. Picking up the shade She Got Money, and let me tell you, this is a beautiful golden shade, and it lives up to its name. I love this shade. I'm going to start packing this on the lid right about 3/4 into that Mochaccino shade. Alright, so I go back in, spritz the brush, and then I tap it on the back of my hand, dip back into that She Got Money shade, and start to apply that on the 3/4 of the second lid, right into that Mochaccino shade. And as you can see, I'm completely shocked of how pigmented that She Got Money shade is, yet I've already used it on the first eye, a little bit of a delayed reaction, but she is a beautiful gold shimmery shade, and I am 100% in love. Okay, so going back into the Mochaccino shade, I'm going to pick a little bit more up on a fluffier brush and start to pack that on the lid just to make sure that that shade infuses with She's Got Money, excuse me, kind of more seamlessly. Another pro tip I like to use is I like to take my middle finger and just blend the two colors together even further, just to make sure everything is more seamless. Okay, next, because I'm a little extra and this is totally optional, I am taking the NYX Cosmetics Glitter Glue and taking a smaller kind of lip brush from the little bit that I put on the back of my hand, and I'm going to trace right above that lid shade. Now keep in mind, you don't need a lot of this, just a little bit goes a long way. Fanning my eyes down so that they dry quicker so I can go on and move in with my glitter shade. Bringing up the Thirsty palette, this is one of my favorite all-time palettes, especially these middle glitter shades. They are amazing, and Jeffree Star knows how much I love him. Once again, this step is totally optional, but I have been so into doing these. Okay, so now that we let that dry for about 30 seconds, it's still tacky. I'm going to dip into the JSC Thirsty palette, the color Snatched. What's really nice about this glitter glue is the glitter from the Thirsty palette will only stick to where you place that glitter. glue. Okay, so I hopped off camera to do my winged eyeliner and my mascara and false lashes. I didn't think you wanted to see that on camera because this video is already so long and we're here for the actual palettes, the pigmentation, and not for lashes and mascara. If you do want to see that part, I can dedicate a full video, kind of a chit chat, get ready with me, but I wanted to do that off camera to save time with this video. On to the bottom lash line, I am going to take the color Like and more of a thin line brush. Now taking that Like shade and putting that in the inner tear duct of the eye. Picking up that Peridot shade, I'm going to start blending on the lower lash line, outer towards inner. Dipping back into the Manchinto shade, we're going to just put that on the outer portion of the lower lash line. Second to last step for the eyes, I am taking a black kohl liner and lining both the top and the bottom inner rim of my eye. A pro tip is if you close your eye while doing this, you'll be able to put the kohl liner on the top and the bottom at the same time. The last step, I apologize for the eyes. I did not show on camera, but I added some mascara to the bottom lashes. Finally, onto the lips now that the eyes are completed, and I am in love with this look. First thing I'm going to use is the Duke's Lip Pencil. I start with the bottom lip, and then I'm filling in the complete lip with the lip pencil. Okay, so now we're going to use the Ultra Satin Lip in Wig, and we're going to start at the bottom lip, fill that in right over where we put that lip pencil. Lastly, for this look, we're going to use the Ultra Glossy Lip in I See You, just to give it a little bit more of a shine. It does have a little bit of a gold tint to it. This color is so Christmassy red and extremely pigmented. I used one full swipe for the bottom lip, and then I went back in and used one full swipe for the top lip. I am such a dork, but that Ultra Glossy Lip in ICU is extremely bright and very gold. I love it to be used as a lip topper and just on its own as well. Okay guys, so that completes the lit look I was able to create with this palette. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you like it? What were your thoughts on the pigmentation, the fallout? And just for a little added freakiness, because I'm a huge freak, I'm going to go ahead and lick the palette because I loved it so much. Okay, excitingly, moving on to the wet palette. I am very excited to use this. I usually stick to more of the warm tones, but I am dipping into this palette. I want to show you a cohesive look with this as well to see if this is something that would work for you. Because they are darker shades and I'm not used to using them, I did go ahead and throw some translucent powder underneath my eyes to start off with. To start off this look, I am using the color Skinny Legend as my transition shade right in between the brow bone and the lid. Also, I'd like to quickly mention too, for both the lit and the wet palette, I am using the Jaclyn Hill X Morphe brushes, and I love them so very much. I did go over that Skinny Legend shade for a second time just to build up the pigmentation. Now dipping into that Iwa Beach shade, which is more of a cool tone brown, which is fitting for the wet palette because everything is pretty much blues and greens and a little bit of silver. I'm going to start stamping that on my lid at the outer V. Once I get the pigmentation that I like for the first pass through, I'm going to start blending it up more into the inner of that crease right below the Skinny Legend shade, but still slightly above the lid as well. Okay, so now we're going back into the Skinny Legend shade, the first shade we use as a transition shade. And we're going to go a little bit on the actual Iwa Beach shade, and then a little bit above it, but still below the brow bone. This is just going to further ensure that we blend out both colors and everything seems more seamless. Adding the color I'm Chilling, I put that on the lid, mixing a little bit between Iwa Beach and I'm Chilling just to kind of give a more ombre effect. Another pro tip that I like to use is I like to take the darker shades more on the outer, stamp them there, and then slowly build them as I have less pigmentation on the brush into the inner part of the eye. I just feel like it helps with the blending, and then also just makes for a more cohesive look. Dipping back into Skinny Legend for the third time, just to make sure once again that that brown shade and that blue shade I'm Chilling and Ewop Beach are fully blended and seamless. Okay, so using the same concealer, LA Girl Pro Concealer in Porcelain, I put a little bit on the back of my hand using a very small flat brush. I'm going to start to crease the eye, taking it a little bit further from the inner tear duct into that I'm Chillin' shade. Using the same brush, I'm going to use the Mario spray, and I'm going to spritz the brush, just make sure that it's not fully damp, tapping it on the back of my hand to soak up some of that spray. Finally, tapping into my favorite shade in the entire collection, Thickums, which I am very Thickums, and this shade is me in a nutshell. We are going to take this shade and we're going to put it onto the lid right where over the top, I should say, of that LA Girl Pro Concealer. And yes, like I mentioned, this is my favorite shade, and I am, of course, have a delayed reaction for the shock value of how amazingly pigmented, sparkly, glittery, and bright this shade is. And I probably bought this entire collection just for this shade alone. Okay, so now I'm dipping into LOL, I'm Crying, which is this beautiful kind of sea green, aqua blue, sparkly shade. And I'm sticking that right in between Thickums and I'm Chillin' on the lid. Now going back and forth between I'm Chillin' and Ewop Beach, just making sure everything is fully cohesive and I'm getting that ombre look between the 4 shades that I actually have on the lid. Using the shade Mood, we're going to stick that in our inner tear duct on the bottom lash line. Also taking the sparkly greenish shade, Fishy, and putting that right in the middle of the inner tear duct on the bottom lash line. I wanted to try and use every shade in this palette, which I think I did, except for Finished. Now taking the shade Ewop Beach, that beautiful cool tone brown, and we're going to use it on the bottom lash line on the outer portion. Now that the eyeshadows are complete on the lid, we are going to dust away that powder. I'm going to hop off camera and throw on some liner, wing, mascara, and some false lashes. Okay, now that the eyes are completely completed, we are going to jump into the lip kit for the Wet collection. I forgot to mention that these lip bundles do retail for $16, and you get both the lip liner, the Ultra Satin Lip, and the also Ultra Glossy Lip. So the first thing I'm going to do is line my lips with BFF. Attempt to line my lips with the lip pencil. Now moving on to the Ultra Satin Lip, and she's cute, and this is a very pinky nude. Lastly, for the lips, we're going to use the Ultra Glossy Lip in shade Kumquat. Okay, so that is it for both the lit and wet side of the Bretman Rocks X Colourpop collection. I hope you enjoyed this video and the looks that I created. Please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay beautiful.